Hi, everyone. This is Neil Douglas, and this is American Truth Finders. Tonight, we're going to do part two of what happens to America if Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are elected president and vice president, and the Senate takes over, is taken over, by the Democrats. This affects not only Republicans or conservatives, but this is going to affect everyone, no matter what your party affiliation is. So I hope that you'll join me. I hope I'm on the air. For those of you, Doris, thank you so much. You're my hero already tonight. Thank you. I'm hoping that people will share this because I'm going to tell you something. We got another viewer. Thank you. Just say hi because I'm going to tell you, as I said before, I'm opening up the show and letting you know that this topic tonight, I hope you can hear me well enough. I'm going to scoot up just a bit to my mic. But this affects not only Democrats and Republicans and independents and libertarians. This affects the whole United States of America and actually the whole world. If Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are elected as president, vice president, and the Democrats take over the Senate because they've already got the House. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen when that does happen. And I want your comments. I want your thoughts. I want your thinking. I'm going to start off tonight by if Joe Biden is elected and they hold the House and win the Senate, there is nothing to stop them from dismantling our system of government, checks and balances. People pay attention to that one because there will be no checks and balances. They will control the government totally. They will pack the or expand, whichever way you want to put it, the Supreme Court. So it is a liberal majority that legislates from the branch. In other words, the Supreme Court will make the laws. Now, you don't have to believe that, and you can disagree with me. That's what this show's about, is opinions. And I'm going to tell you that people, this is a serious situation. Yesterday, I don't know how many of you heard this. Yesterday, when a private small TV station commentator asked Joe Biden about is he going to announce his nominee picks for the Supreme Court, his comment was, voters don't deserve to know his stance in picking the Supreme Court. Now, I didn't stutter when I said that. Joe Biden says that the voters don't deserve to know who his Justice Supreme Court picks would be. He'll wait until after the election. Now, they talk about transparency. That, to me, is a very damaging comment. And I hope that the media picks up on that big enough to where they let the rest of the country know what's really going on. I'm going to tell you something. The Biden and Sanders manifesto is 80 pages long, and you can go look at it. I only am going to give you just a few of them, like maybe 7 points to start with. By the way, for those of you that are watching, please share this as we go along, if you would. We need people to really get involved with this. This is an important topic. This is a very important subject. Okay, we're going to just give you some of this. I'm just going to give you some of what the Biden and Sanders manifesto is. And I'm just going to give you 7 of them to give you a start. They want to reverse the Paris peace agreement. So other words, that'll be down the drain. They'll get rid of it. What Trump already has put in. They want to get this, and I don't know where the money's going to come for this. Shift 50,000 school buses to zero emissions. 50,000 school buses. That's a lot. Where are they going to get this? Thank you for that like, whoever did it. I really appreciate that. That helps me a lot, because this is your show, I'm telling you. Doris says to me, we the people deserve everything they do. Deserve to know everything we do. They do. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely, Doris. That's why I said this comment that Biden made yesterday to that reporter. And it's funny because you notice not one major news network, including Fox, who people consider the most conservative, along with One America Now and I can't remember the other one off the top of my head. It's on my website. Isn't that crazy? Anyway, when Biden said that voters don't deserve to know his stance for picking the Supreme Court justices. Well, Doris, you're absolutely right. They do deserve to know. We should know. I mean, why wouldn't you want to know who the Supreme Court justices are? And he talks about transparency. The Democrats talk about transparency. This is something I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised that the major networks that did not ask him that question, just bluntly come right out and ask him, are you going to? It took someone to get him to come out and say, no, I'm not going to, because the American people don't deserve to know. Let me go on. They want to end cash bail, which means releasing violent criminals. Now, this is part of the manifesto between Biden and Sanders. And this is only just the beginning of what I'm going to get into, folks. So I'm going to tell you what, you want to stick around. You really want to stick around, because I think you're going to find some shocking news. Maybe it won't be shocking to you, but I'm going to tell you some things that are really very serious. Not only do they want to release violent criminals by ending the cash bail, they want to repeal the right to work laws. They want to oppose school vouchers. They want universal health care, which means a one-payer government-controlled health care. Look, in other words, no more choice for insurance, no matter what your age, no matter what kind of job you have, no matter whether your employer has health insurance or whatever the case might be, they're going to get rid of it, and they want to do. And if they get in control of the House and the Senate, and the presidency and vice presidency, I'm telling you, it's a done deal. And I'm going to dig in a little bit, and I'm going to tell you how it's a done deal and why it's a done deal. So, universal health care, controlled by the government as a one-payer system. All right, and then they want to end the border wall, and they want citizenship for illegals, undocumented workers. They want undocumented illegal to be citizens. This is getting to a point, and I'm not saying that the people that come over here they come here for a reason. They come here to better their life, okay? But they should definitely at least do it legally. But the Democrats have already made it very clear that they're going to, according to the manifesto between Biden and Sanders, they're going to end that. They're going to end the border wall. They're going to give citizenship for illegals that are undocumented. Okay, now I'm going to read you something that you better pay attention to, and please listen closely as I read this. As I've told you before, I don't memorize a lot of things, because I don't. It's not something that I'm good at. And unfortunately, like on TV, they can read off what's printed for them. I can't do that. I don't have that kind of technology. Now, I'm going to start off with this one: communism versus freedom. The strategy for taking over the Democratic Party, and this was posted on June 13th of last year. All right. Now, this was when Donald Trump Jr. recently told Fox News that the 2020 election would be about communism versus freedom. He was not exaggerating. Now, how did he know this? I think we probably have seen some of this coming on a small scale, but we didn't realize how serious. I'm going to go on with this because this is important. The defeat of Donald Trump and the ejection of the right wing. This is one of their goals. Okay, it is a tactical goal of the same urgency, not only for Democrats but also for the leftists. All right, let's go on. Let's see some more. The outcoming of election will have a direct effect on getting rid of right-wing populism. That is what communism is against as far as freedom. No, that's not all. That's just a little bit of it. I'm only reading the important parts. The removal of Trump's block would also remove a stubborn obstacle. I love that word. To a range of the urgent progressive reforms such as needed in the grassroots. Okay, part of those reforms are Medicare for all, the Green New Deal, the new wars and interventions, no wars and interventions, a $15 minimum wage, and so on. All right. The reason they want that $15 minimum wage is to actually put mom and pop out of business, which is going to. Doris says shared. Am I reading that right? Because that's that printing again. That's so light. I can't darken this screen like I can with Facebook. But anyway, I think that's. You did share. You shared it. Thank you, Doris. I appreciate that. I've got 10 viewers now. Please stay with me, people. Let me know you're there. Make your comments, because if you don't agree with me, that's absolutely what this show's about. Is I want your opinions. We're talking right now, for those of you who just joined us, that the communism versus freedom, and that's because of how this election is going to turn out is going to depend upon what happens to our country. And I'm going to tell you, it's scary. It is very scary. Another thing besides that, the minimum wage, it's going to be a situation where who's going to control, the fact that mom and pop can't stay in business at $15 an hour. Now that's big corporation money. Let them pay that. But are the Democrats going to take that money and give it to the small moms and pops? I don't think so. Lisa, hi Lisa, by gollies, you made it. I'm glad you could make it. Let's see. No wars or interventions sounds good. That would help the Democrats. You're right. No, it would. And I'm not. Look, I don't like wars any more than anybody else, Lisa. I'm with you on that one. But my question is, when they say no wars or interventions, because we're talking about communism versus freedom. So would we back down if we had wars? Would we not protect our own country? I don't know what that particular part means, because I'm being honest with you with that. All right, the last two things on this issue is the candidates running for the Democrat Party seems it's actually likely the likeliest path towards removal of Donald Trump. That's the basic thing that they're moving for, is to get the Democrat Party in control as much as they can. This seems like the likeliest path towards a removal. All right, and the last thing on this, of what I'm going to read on this, as far as communism versus freedom, is the most fruitful strategy is not only accomplished that goal, but it would also strengthen the left's leverage and after on other upcoming rounds of class and democratic struggles, keeping the country a socialist road or on a socialist road. That's what the goal is right now, is to keep the country on a socialist road, because the socialist road is the closest road to communism. Now, I'm going to read you. I'm going to give you some stuff now that you need to really watch and pay attention, and question me on it. I mean, I don't care. Comment on it, because I'm going to tell you, this is your show. I'm just the commentator. I'm giving you what information I have found to tell you what's going to happen if Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are elected and the Senate is taken over by the Democrat Party. And I want to tell you right now, Nancy Pelosi, I'm going to stop right there. Nancy Pelosi coming out about the 25th Amendment last Thursday, I mentioned that, and I said that might be a way to get rid of Donald Trump. If Donald Trump wins the election, yes, that would still work. But I'm going to tell you, it is, in my opinion, it is actually, they're headed for this. They're using Joe Biden as a guinea pig or a pawn or a Trojan horse, whatever you want to call him. And I want to tell you how that's being done. If he is elected, if they are elected, he will not stay in office any longer than they have to. They'll use the 25th Amendment against him, and Kamala Harris will be the president, and that's their goal to begin with, because she came out of nowhere, basically. And if you look up her record for voting in the Senate, you'll see what I'm talking about. She is about the farthest left. As a matter of fact, she probably is the farthest left-leaning senator that's in the Congress right now, that's in the Senate. So don't misunderstand. This is going to get deeper, because it's going to involve your communities. It's going to involve your cities. So please pay attention, and please don't be afraid to comment and put me down if you want. The point is, this is your show. This is an opinion show. I'm giving you some things that and some facts that I didn't write. I didn't write these facts. I did a lot of research, I can tell you that. Doris Roberts says we need to stand up for our rights. Absolutely, Doris. And the only way that's going to happen at this particular minute, because of the fact we don't have any other way. There is so much fraud already going on with the mail-in voting and the early voting. There's so much fraud going on right now. We don't know what's going to happen. I can tell you right now, there's no way, unless there's such a big landslide that they can't help but give in. There is no way that we're going to know the night of the election who's the president and who isn't the president. There's no way, and it's going to drag out and drag out and drag out, and like I said yesterday when I said, earlier when I said that Joe Biden, when he told that reporter, the American people have no right to know who the voters don't have any right to know who who his Supreme Court justice picks would be. We don't have the right. That wasn't the actual term he used. The actual term he used is they don't deserve to know. They don't deserve to know. Dave Frank, hey, thanks for joining us. I'm glad you could join us, Dave. I'm going to tell you, Dave, this is a show that I think you might have some interest in, because I know what your program is about, and if you follow along for a while, if you're able to, Dave, I'm going to tell you this affects everybody, and it starts. I'm telling you, I'm going to show you, I'm going to read to you, I'm going to tell you how it starts within the communities. And Dave says, hi, Neil, good show. And I do appreciate that. Doris says she's evil. Talking about Kamala Harris, she's not. I'm going to tell you what. I said on Thursday, I didn't think I could find a winner. And I watched and I rewatched and I rewatched and I rewatched, and I know a lot of the conservative news thinks that Pence did win, and of course the left-wing media thinks that Kamala Harris won. I'm still not sure if there was a winner. I would say if anybody came out on top, the most, if there was one, might have been Pence when he said to them, are you going to pack the court? Dave says, whenever there is a, let's see here, whoever wins, there will be chaos. Oh, Dave, you're absolutely right. And Bob Freud last Thursday, I think it was, Bob, that said he's concerned, he thinks that we're going to have a revolution. Because I mentioned I'm concerned about a civil war because they're trying to divide us. And I'm going to get into that and how they're doing it. They are trying to divide us, and it's working. And I'm going to tell you how they're doing it. I'm going to read you something here. Democratic Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, who said that we are able to push Joe Biden to do things that he hadn't signed up to do before. We are able to push him. This is what this Democratic Pramila Jayapal had to say about pushing Joe Biden to do things that he hadn't signed on to do before. Jayapal said on Comedy Central episode of The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, he is movable, referring to Biden. In other words, Biden will listen to them and they can push him around or they can do whatever they want. Now, Joe Biden surrendered to the socialist Democrat Jayapal, who wrote the Democrats' socialized medicine bill. We are able to significantly push Joe Biden to do things that he hasn't signed on before. He is movable. That's her quote. That is absolutely her quote, not mine. And I'm not making this up. This was on August 12th of this year. That she made that comment. Before I go on, continue to read there. Let me see what Doris has to say. Because they know that he has dementia. I don't know if that's the case or not. I hope it isn't, because for anybody, I would not want to see that, Doris, and I'm sure you would agree that that's not something anybody should have to suffer with, is dementia. But yes, they want to use that on Trump if he wins, that he doesn't have the ability to comprehend, or he's not thinking right, or we're not thinking straight, because now he's free of COVID, spreading the COVID virus, and he's out and about. And when he was on the balcony on Saturday, all the media was, oh my gosh, all those people out there, and he's out there spreading his germs. Well, they were so far away from him, he wasn't giving them anything, and he wasn't, and his doctor gave him the go-ahead. His doctor says you're not contagious. Anyway, let me go on. Jayapal's optimism stems from the recently released Utility Task Forces agreement. Look that one up if you want, people. Look that one up. It's called Utility Task Forces Agreement. That's the Democrats. Okay. Last month, where the Biden campaign joined forces, with Bernie Sanders, that's where what I read to you earlier, what the steps are that they want to take. So she went on to say, reassuring the Democratic base of Biden's commitment and progressivism, Sanders' staff clearly determined that the decisions getting Biden to endorse free college citizenship for illegal immigrants. Now, who's going to pay for that? Why should illegal immigrants get free college when our own kids can't get free college? And unless they get some kind of a scholarship, and even then it's not totally free in many cases. The whole point here now, that's something to think about, that they want to give free college to illegal immigrants. Now, where are, I don't care if you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, Libertarian, whatever you are. You've got to be bothered by this, because this is a movement, and I'm going to tell you where it's headed. Now, I'm going to ask you, and I want you to be honest with me. For those, all you have to do is write just yes or no. Are any of you familiar with what's called the Working Families Party? Are any of you familiar with the Working Families Party? Well, I'm going to tell you. First of all, they are endorsing Joe Biden. The Working Families Party is definitely endorsing Joe Biden. I'm not going to read a bunch of their stuff, but I'm going to give you some highlights, and then we're going to get into this deeper about the working class or the Working Families Party. It will be we'll probably use it as WFT, if I can remember to do that. All right, here's what they're doing. They want to remove Trump from the White House by electing Joe Biden. Next, they're going to elect a progressive champions at every level of government. When they're talking about every level of government, they're talking about your local, county, your city, state, whatever it might be. Whether no matter what it is you have. That's what they're going to do. And it is working. I want you to go to their website. Go to their website and look up who they're supporting for political parties, or for political offices locally. Look at them up locally, people. Now, number 3, they want to defend the vote. Trump is already spewing misinformation. This is what they're saying about mail-in balloting or voting and trying to permanently disqualify the results of the election. They're trying. Okay, this is where Hillary Clinton said to Biden, do not concede under any circumstances. If it is a tie, don't concede. Now, I don't know where your thinking is right now, but you know something. This is the Working Families Party. This I'm talking about. Okay, keep moving. Wait a minute. Let me go on here. Yeah, I did tell you about that. They want to disqualify the election. All right. The 4th thing they want to do is keep building a movement to win the world we want to see. Now, that's the beginning part of the Working Families Party. None of you yet have told me whether you've even heard of them. Can I tell you something? I want you to go to their website. I want you to really go to the Working Families Party website and look up their political their manifesto, whatever you want to call it, their policy, their charter. Look at their charter. Doris says no, obviously you haven't. Lori says voting for Trump. That's all this all I got. Are you saying you are voting for Trump, or are you questioning the subject I was just on, Lori? I'm not trying to be mean here. I just don't understand quite for sure if you're voting for Trump. What I tell people is, look, you have to vote your conscience no matter what. But what I'm trying to tell you is if Biden and Kamala Harris get in office and the Senate is taken over by the Democrats, this country is done as you know it. I'm telling you right now, it is no more going to be a free America. It is no more going to be the America that we know or love. Lori says yes, and I'm taking it that you are voting for Trump. Okay. It's heartbreaking because I'm going to tell you what. Let me go on here a little bit further. The Working Families Party is an influential labor-backed organization, okay? And it has helped push Democrats to the left. Now, if that looked like I was pointing right on your page or on your screen, I'm pointing left on mine. All right. The Democrat Socialists of America, the early backer of, are you ready? And I know, Lisa, you're going to question this. Maybe it's not you, Lisa. Maybe it's somebody else that questioned me on it. The Democratic Socialist Party of America were an early backer of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, better known as AOC. Now, I bring that up because the Working Families Party has been infiltrated. And I'm going to go on a little bit more. The Squad, you know who they are. AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley, and Ilhan Omar. She right now is under investigation for a couple of things. And I think it's using funds. I don't know for certain because I did not do the research on that. But it also, I want to tell you that she is being investigated because of supposedly marrying her brother to become a United States citizen. That's been in the news. That's been, questioned. I don't have the answer, yes or no, because I didn't look it up to verify it. Now, but I'm going to go on farther because I want you to pay very, very, very close attention to what I'm going to tell you. The Working Family Party follows the ideals of progressive politics, describing itself as grassroots independent political organization. It is more than such, it's quasi-Marxist. And some right-leaning politicians refer to the World Family Party as the Tea Party of the left. Remember the Tea Party? That everybody, jumped on board, but there was a left part of it, and when you, however, the right-winging, the New York Post, bases the white or the Working Family Party as a quasi-Marxist. And I'm going to tell you why and how they come up with that. Are you ready? In January of 2018, an article on the Communist Party website survey says the Communist Party of the United States of America members went to herd want to herd. Other words, you've heard, you know what the herding is. You've heard that, especially in the COVID situation. All right. Most members are involved with their communities. Now, this is what I was referring to with Dave Frank. This is why I mentioned, because of your program that you're promoting, that you come up with onevoicenow.org. Anyway, most members are involved in their communities and in the range of labor, social justice, environmental, and peace organizations. Among the labor activists and trade union leaders and the members of the Central Labor Councils, free organizations, and so on and so forth. But I'm going to go down now, and I'm going to read you something. Members involved such with Bernie Sanders campaign and are continuing their activism in our what they call our revolutions, serving the left, swinging left. Working Families Party, they've infiltrated it. Now, the Working Families Party is, going back to what I said before, the Squad. It is also endorsing Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. The United States Communist Party. They are the Communist Party of the United States of America, however you want to put it. They have infiltrated the Working Families Party, statewide groups like New Virginia Majority, the local Democratic Party groups, and 2018 electoral campaigns. This goes back to 2018. Even it goes back further than that as far as that part's concerned. I know I'm going a little bit fast, but I'm telling you something. These are important things. Now, from the association, let's see, wait a minute, Lisa. If the rest of the U.S. was over, wait a minute, I want to see. I feel that the U.S. was over after 9/11. We thought we came together then. We did come together, Lisa, to a degree, but for some reason or another, it suddenly stopped. That togetherness suddenly came to a halt. Maybe Trump's plan is to bring the Democrats. Is bring in the Democrats and take them as far left possible because he wants to destroy America. No, I'm not going to buy into that one. I can't go that far, Lisa. I'm sorry. I'm not going there. They're trying to get rid of him, for crying out loud. This is dictatorial. Ultimately, and it destroys destroyers do not want communism for the people. I say that about Trump because he works with I can't make that out because of the light print, but it looks like it says the Charbed Lovatures. I apologize about that, Lisa. I really do. Well, I'm going to disagree on that with you on that one, but your opinion has to be well taken. But no, I don't. There's no way do I think that Trump wants the Democrats in office. For crying out loud, he's doing everything he can to get rid of them. He's doing everything he can to bring business back into this country. Why would you think he wants to be the dictator and still get defeated because the communists are helping infiltrate this election? You look at China, that's a communist country. You look at Russia, they're communists. Both of them, just those two alone, either want Trump or they want Biden. Well, in this case, now China wants Biden. The bottom line is all elections have been, even we get involved with elections where we shouldn't be getting involved. To me, this is a whole different topic. But I don't agree with you that Trump is a Democrat, or he wants to put the Democrats in so he can take control, because he would not get control. He would not get control. You have to look at the fact that he's 74 years old. All right. If he goes another 4 years, he'll be 78. What control would he have at 78 years old? And he's fighting the Democrats like crazy. He's trying to do everything he can. And Doris Roberts says Trump is trying to help us. I have to agree. Russia isn't communist, and they want Trump. Well, let me tell you what, Russia's as close to communism as you're going to get. What else do you think they are, Lisa? And yes, they are the ones that are supporting Trump, but it's China that's supporting Biden. So I'm saying it works. It's working both ways. I didn't argue that point. I said they're both working both ways. You got China that wants Biden, and you got Russia that wants Trump. Well, they should both stay out of it, because this is supposed to be up to us, the people. We are the government. That's what I can't seem to get through people's head. We are the government. We should make the decisions for who is going to represent us. And this election is now being played by our own government, along with those. Look, along with the countries that are trying to maybe destroy us and get involved with the election. Look at our own government, postal workers, or whatever the case might be, people that are destroying ballots, that are losing them, throwing them away, whatever. You know, the whole thing is, you know, they actually, Doris, you're right. They work for us, but in reality, they're not working for us. They're telling us that we're going to work for them. And I'm gonna read you. I'm gonna go on, and the Democrats allow the communists to infiltrate their party across the nation. And here's what this says: the Communist Party of the United States of America is infiltrating the Democratic Party across the country. Communists, some openly, some secretly, are working in Democratic campaigns, holding Democratic Party leadership positions, and even running for public office at the Democratic Party ballot line. Now, these are communists from the United States that belong to the United States, the communist U.S. Communist Party. Many comrades work closely with influential congressmen of the United States senators. Millions of grassroots Democrat voters are strongly opposed to communism. Now, hear what I say. Millions of grassroots Democrat voters are strongly opposed to communism. So this involves both the Democrats and the Republicans, the Libertarians, the Independents, or whatever. You better pay attention to this election. If the Democrats if the Communist Party has already infiltrated the Democrat Party, and they may have I didn't find it, but they may have possibly even infiltrated some of the more left-leaning Republican parties, because there are those too. I mean, you've got them on both sides. You've got moderates or right-leaning Democrats, and you've got left-leaning Republican. So they may have done both. But in this particular article, it is the Democrats. Most would be horrified to know that the communists are working openly and secretly in every level of their cherished Democratic Party. People, this is not a game anymore. In less than what? This is October 11th. 3 weeks. We have an election. This election is so important. This is the future of the United States of America. If the Senate is lost to the Democrats, and if Kamala Harris is the vice president, she's really going to be the president. You don't have to believe me. You can put me down. You can cut me down. You can cuss me out. You can do whatever you want to, but I'm telling you right now, this is going to affect the whole world. This election is going to affect the whole world, and I mean that with my heart. And I'm very serious when I tell you. And I know I've got some viewers that come in and going because you either don't like what I'm saying or it isn't interesting to you or whatever the case may be, and I appreciate that. But what I want you to understand, feel free to make your comment. Feel free to say what you have on your mind. Feel free to tell me, Neil, you're crazy. You're out of your mind. Well, am I? Am I really out of my mind? Are we going to even, look, are we going to have debates? Are we going to have a fair election? I would hope that it could be, but look, already California, New York, and some other parts of the country, ballots have gotten lost, and I'm talking about both names, Biden's and Trump's. No name on the ballot at all on the absentee ballot. No president of either side. So what the heck is going to happen? What's going to happen to these people that can't even vote, or whatever the case might be, when there's no or they get thrown away? If their vote gets thrown away, you've got to get figure out a way to go and if you have an absentee ballot, or if you have a ballot that you want to vote, or if you're going to vote ahead of time, you better get it done, and you better go in person. I went the other day to go to vote, and the line was so long. I'll tell you what, it would have taken hours, and with some of my health issues, I couldn't do that. So anyway, I'm just telling you, and I didn't mean to bring that up about my health issues. That's not a part of the situation. Lisa says, but the Democrats didn't let Bernie in. They didn't they don't like the leftists or look at Hillary Clinton. But you're wrong. They did let Bernie in, and I'll tell you how they let him in. The Democrats let him in when they made the agreement with Biden, that I read earlier in the show. I don't know if you were there then or not, but it's the Biden-Sanders manifesto. That was an agreement to get, let me tell you something, and I'm not just saying this to you, Lisa, so don't take this personally. This whole thing was planned. Why do you think, like AOC, all of a sudden, somebody from nowhere in this world knew anything about her? She comes out of a restaurant or a bar or wherever she worked as a waitress or whatever she did, and all of a sudden she's a star politician, and she's at the top of the thing that's helping push this country into socialist, communistic movement. And don't tell me it's not socialist and that you want to be a socialist. If you want to be a socialist, why is it so many people come into this country? Because they don't want to be in a socialist country. Why do so many people want to flee socialism and get out of communism to come to the United States of America? That's because we are a free country. Well, we're not that free anymore, because what happened? Guess what? They want to do away with the First Amendment, your freedom of speech, your freedom to go to church, your freedom of the right to think for yourself. They're going to tell you, we're going to have government controlled news. Totally. They want to do away with the Second Amendment. Kamala Harris herself said, we want your guns. Nancy Pelosi is running scared right now because she's afraid she's going to be replaced. And you've got people like the squad who are suddenly out of nowhere, they come about and they are somehow pushing this country right to the left as far as they can get it. What is going on with people that think that socialism is okay? What is going on when you see it in front of you? You see it, it's in front of you. We admit it's happening, that we don't have the freedom of speech. We don't have so much of our freedoms that we'd love to have. You know, when they can open up bars, but you can't open up a church. That's in these left-wing states. So come on, let's be realistic. The Democrats did make a deal with Bernie Sanders, Lisa. I'm not picking on you, dear. Please understand that. We have our discussions and we always come to an agreement. And I'm going to tell you something. Susan, my goodness, I've got a new a viewer. It's scary. It is scary. And I'm not trying to be the expert here. I'm just telling you, I have done this for a long time. I've seen this. I've seen it coming. When I was doing radio, I saw it coming. Let me see. Lisa says, okay, you're right, Bernie Sanders. I'm trying to read that, Lisa, and I'm so sorry. Let me see, because I can't put my mouse over because it makes it go away. I mean, they won't let him on the ticket. Okay, yeah, you're right. They didn't let him on the ticket. And I disagree. And even though Bernie is admitted socialist, that's the one thing you got to admire about the guy, and at least respect him. He admits he's a socialist. Okay, and they want his vote, his voters. Yes, they do. And that's smart, but it doesn't mean that they're going to they're going to give the leftists everything they want. Oh, yes, they are. I'm sorry, you're wrong. In this case, Lisa, you're wrong. They are going to give the left. Look, they've already got it planned. Will you please think about this? Why in the heck would they pick anybody for president to run for president who has been in Congress, in politics for 47 years? He's 48 years old. He doesn't have the stamina anymore. And I'm not going to question his mental capacity, because I'm not a doctor and all I know is what I see, like everybody else. But why would they pick him knowing that he probably wouldn't make it another 4 years? I mean, I hope he can live out that long, but I hope it's not in any kind of agony or pain or whatever the case might be. because I'm telling you right now, they picked Kamala Harris. She is going to be your president. Now, maybe Biden will be the president in looks and in topic or whatever the case might be, but how long? Why do you think Nancy Pelosi, as I told you earlier, came out with the 25th Amendment? For future, she said, for future. And that could mean Donald Trump if he wins, and or Joe Biden if he wins, so that they can. But again, as I said, Nancy Pelosi's scared. She's scared of losing her position. Deborah, Neil Stacy, hi, how are you? I'm glad you could join us. Bernie Sanders voters almost necessarily going to back Biden, are not going to, excuse me. I'm like I said, I wish the wording on this would not be so light. Anyway, going back to what she said, they're not necessarily going to back Biden, but they will not vote. All of them, if they have Bernie, they don't want anyone. Oh, okay. I think I read that right. And if I'm understanding you, you're saying that Bernie's not on the ballot, and I think he is on the ballot in some states, though, isn't he? Correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, because I thought maybe he might be on a couple, 2 or 3 states, but even as a write-in, I don't even know if that would work. He's not going to get enough votes, and it doesn't mean, and that them not voting might. The Bernie Sanders, because people are upset about Bernie Sanders. He had a lot of followers. So how did Kamala Harris suddenly all of a sudden beat Bernie Sanders? I mean, again, Bernie Sanders is an older person like Joe Biden, but Bernie Sanders is the socialist that they don't want people to have on the Democratic ticket, because they're trying to blindfold us. They're trying to put the blinders on us so that we don't think that they are leaning to the left. I just proved to you. I just showed you. AOC and her squad are being backed by the Working Families Party, which is being infiltrated by the Communist Party of America. I mean, this is not a fairy tale, people. This is not a fairy tale. This is for real. And if they get in office as president, vice president, and they take the Senate, they've already got the House. They've already got the House. So if they get those other 3, president, vice president, and Senate, this country is over with as you know it. And if you don't believe it, please do. And I'm telling you anyway, I want you to not believe everything I say. I want you to do your own research. I know Lisa does. I know Lisa does a tremendous amount of research. And I'm sure, Doris and Deborah, all of you, Susan, everybody does research. The thing I'm getting at is the Working Family Party. You have to look it up. Look at their charter. Look at their political, who they're backing and who they want in, because they have been infiltrated. Yes, listen to the people like Jimmy. I can't make out that last one. Joe, is it Doe? Anyway, let me back up a bit. Heads all against the Democrat every day because there aren't enough left. There aren't left enough. You mean going farther left enough? Didn't think it was in their policy papers. Now let me see if I can reread that. I apologize for this, people, but it's the way that this print does on the screen. I can't darken the screen to get to where I can get the print darker. People like Jimmy Dore, he rails against the Democrat. Oh, you're talking about how he's railing against the Democrats every day because they are not left enough. Well, yeah, the regular Democrats, the everyday people. But but if you're talking about the politicians, don't let them fool you. They've already, you've got Democrat politicians that are really not they're Democrat in name, just like some of the Republicans are Republican in name only, rhinos. Democrats have the same issue, but it's Democrats in name that are communists. The Communist Party of the United States of America has admitted this. They have said, we are in your cities, we're in your counties, we are in your states, we are in we are in federal government. So we have Democrats that are in office right now, all over our whole entire country, that are affiliated with the Communist Party. And going back to the Working Family Party, I'm telling you right now, they've got infiltrated and they are leaning Marxist. So how far left do you want them to go? They're already wanting to take away everything, Lisa. They're already wanting to take away everything. They want your guns. Why do you think there's been such a big run on guns? Why do you think there's been a big run on ammunition, where even ammunition is at a shortage in many areas? People are ready. People are knowing something's going to happen, and it doesn't look good. And like I said, this doesn't affect just the United States of America. This affects the whole world. Our country, we're one of the strongest countries in the whole world. We've had the strongest economy. We've had the strongest working force. We've had less unemployment. We've had that changed when the COVID hit. So that can come back though, and it's starting to come back. I've looked at the market, and the market's already starting to come back to where it's not far off its highest for the year, in over centuries. Matter of fact, ever. So and it's not that I play with the market. I watch the market because the market tells you a lot. It tells you how much faith they have in what's going on with the companies and what's going on within government, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, Doris says they're taking away our freedom. Well, yeah. See, here, that's what I'm saying. You could, in some of these left states, and I'm saying left states because this is where you hear it the most. I've never heard it in a right state. And in any of the right states, the red states, or whatever you want to call them, I've not heard this. Now, I could be wrong but in the left states, like California, I'm going to use California because I don't know if any of you are from California or not. But anyway, the point I'm getting at is when bars can be open, or even New York, where bars can be open, but churches can't. That's a freedom of religion, which is our First Amendment. Drinking in a bar is not necessarily our First Amendment. It might be a freedom as long as you don't abuse it and find yourself killing people because you're driving drunk. And yes, I know there's some weird religious out there where they'll use, whatever. And I'm not, maybe I'm not saying any of you are part of it, where you've seen them, they don't want to take medicine, or they'll use rattlesnakes or whatever. To me, that's not a true religion. I mean, I'm talking about people who are really faithful and use the biblical way of living. And I'm not telling you how to live. I'm telling you how I would like to think that I live. But like you said, Doris, yes, they are taking away our freedoms. And when I tell you, I mean, I can go back to the beginning for if any of you that missed this want to hear what Joe Biden had said and what's going on. If Biden is elected and they hold the House and the Senate, there's nothing to stop them from dismantling our system of government. Checks and balances. We have to have checks and balances. Do you understand? That's why we've got a Senate right now that's Republican and a House that's Democrats. That is checks and balances. They are fighting with each other. I hate it. I hate the fact that they're not getting anything done. But and there's people out there that need these stimulus checks that they're talking about. It's kind of like dangling a piece of candy out on a stick or something, and having a little child chase after it, or having your pets chase after it but not catch it. That's what they're doing right now. That's exactly what they're doing. Congress is doing the same thing. They're taking their vacation. The Republicans took their vacation during the conventions, and they wouldn't go to do anything. I'm talking about the Senate, and the Democrats, the House, are taking their vacation until the 19th or whatever they're doing. They're taking their time off. There's nothing going to be really done. They are doing some things behind the doors. I will say Nancy Pelosi and the Treasury Secretary Mnuchin, they are doing that. I will give them that, at least trying to talk. And Trump said if he has to, he'll sign the checks to give people some money. That $1,200 is not going to do much for a lot of families, but it's going to help. Maybe feed their families. My gosh, they got children. What do you expect? If they've got children, they want to feed them, and that's where their stealing comes in. Where they go to the store, they have to steal something, a loaf of bread, to feed their family. I would do the same. I'm not going to lie to you. If I had no way of being able to feed my family, I'd do it in a minute. I mean, I wouldn't do it where I would use a gun. I'm not saying that, but I would feed my family. My family would come first. Deborah says, drinking in a bar would be more under the in the pursuit of happiness. Well, I guess it depends how happy they get, Deborah. But anyway, wait a minute. I'm not done reading that. Of the First Amendment. Therefore, it is a freedom. I guess you're right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's the way you phrased that, Deborah. It was great. I loved it. She says, I'm going to have to argue with checks and balances having nothing to do with the political parties. The checks and balances are between the executive and legislative and judicial branches. And you're right about that. But here's where I was coming at with that, Deborah. I don't know if you caught this earlier or not. This came down to the Supreme Court. That the next part of this, what I wrote was that they will pack the Supreme or expand the Supreme Court, which is part of that legislative branch that you're talking about. And if it's a liberal majority that legislates from the branch, in other words, the Supreme Court will make the laws. They're not supposed to make laws. They're supposed to interpret the law as it's written by the Constitution, or how it is in the Constitution. They're not supposed to make laws. But I don't care if it's Republicans or Democrats. If the Republicans put 13 people on the Supreme Court, that's packing the court. Then what do we have? We got the same thing that we're facing now. We'd have a one-party controls all. And that's not what our country was set up for. I look at other parties. I look at other states that won't allow libertarians or maybe independents to be on the ticket. Is that our America? Are we only a two-party country? The way we're headed, we're going to be a one-party country. Now, I mean, I realize that for those of you that have been with me since we started the show, I've repeated a few things, but I'm telling you, I'm only telling you this, and you make a good point, Deborah. But that's still checks and balances. When you have, and the reason I say the Congress, because Congress is one that spends our money. Congress is one that makes laws. And even though we have a legislative and an executive and a judicial branch, which you are absolutely 100% right, everything goes through Congress first. I mean, when you think about it, even an impeachment goes through Congress before it goes any further. And going back to what I was talking about, as far as the communistic party right now infiltrating the family party, the working family party that nobody has heard of. And I'll ask those that have joined us since I asked this question. Only one person said they've never heard of it. Nobody else has told me they have ever heard of the Working Family Party. would you please just, those of you that are watching, don't be afraid. I'm not going to make fun of you or anything else. Have you heard of the Working Family Party? And if you have, just say yes or no. Because they are secretly being infiltrated by the communists, and they are secretly being, what's the word I want to say? They're actually secretly putting people in office that have now been because they've been infiltrated by the Communist Party. This is and they are quasi Marxist. They really are. Let me see what Lisa has to say. Deborah is right. Don't like the executive orders. He writes like a dictator. Well, I think any president will writes like a dictator when they give out an executive order. I mean, Lisa, I respect the fact that you do not like Donald Trump. That's not my issue here. My issue is I don't want to see one party controlling this country. If we keep the Senate, we still have some control. And if Biden see, I got so upset about that. Harris, excuse me. If Biden and Harris are elected, they're going to be president and vice president. But Harris is going to end up being president. You can bet on that one. Susan Snooker says that no, she's not heard of it. I appreciate that, Susan. I appreciate that honesty. That Obama did a lot. Now, when you say that and when you say he did a lot, are you referring to into what, Susan? If you can, just explain to me. Are you talking about he did a lot as far as executive orders, or he did a lot as far as helping the country, or not helping the country, dividing the country, or not dividing the country? In what respect are you referring to with Obama? Because Susan says charges. You mean as far as taking? Am I reading that right? It says charges or changes. I can't see this darn lighting. See, the wording is gray, and the screen is white. And it's a very light gray. It's so light, it's almost like if you ever have something printed off on a sheet of paper and you can't hardly read it. Well, that's what that is. Lisa says the parties are supposed to be up to help the electorate. Well, they're supposed to, but they don't. One divided the country. Oh, he divided the country. I have to say, I have heard this a lot, and to me, it is not Trump that has divided the country. And maybe that makes me sound like I'm patronizing Trump. And if that's the case, you can put me down for that. That's okay. But I have said for a long time, Obama to me, and it has nothing to do with the fact that he is a president that was that they called him a first black president, but he was not black either, any more than Harris is totally black. That has nothing to do with it. The fact is, I don't think that Obama did that much for this country, but he had a lot of charisma. He was a lot like John Kennedy in that respect. If you go back, if you look at any of John Kennedy's speeches, when in the 60s before he became president, or even as he was campaigning, he was very charismatic. He's very charismatic, and so was Obama. That's what got him elected, for crying out loud. And for the Republicans to put Sarah Palin and the Arizona governor, representative, senator, you know what I'm talking about. I apologize because I had my mind on Harris and Joe Biden. But anyway, you know, the Republicans made a mistake doing that against Obama. And right now, Lisa Anderson, Trump was charismatic. Yeah, he was. But in my opinion, and this is my opinion, I think Trump gets more attention because of his loud mouth and his tweeting, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And he likes to be, you know, he controls his audience in that respect. I don't know that he as far as charismatic, maybe I'm looking at him differently, Lisa, but it got him elected. But he got him elected because I think he kind of stepped up over Clinton, over Hillary in that case. Susan says that I feel that Obama divided the country. I came from a very strong military family, and Obama was a disgrace. Okay, thank you. By the way, thank you, your family, for their service. And that goes to any of you and all of you. I don't care who you are. Thank you for the service to our country, because it's you. They are the ones that have helped keep us free at this point. I would hate to see that go down the drain because of the fact that we lose an election and it ends up being a communistic country or a socialist country or whatever. Deborah Stacy says, I agree, Susan. I have a military family too. Thank you, Deborah. You know what? I came from a military family, and not maybe like some of you, but I even lost an uncle in the war. So, yes, they are. We need to appreciate the fact that they've helped keep us free. Let's not lose it. I'm telling you right now, please do your homework. Do your homework. Do the research. For those of you that were late, I'm telling you right now, I'm that if you missed any of this, please rewatch the video. I would love for you folks. I love the fact that all of you have been commenting. I'm not done yet, unless you're ready for me to get done. I'd like to go for at least 15 more minutes if I can. Otherwise, and if you have questions or if you have comments, I might disagree with you, but I'm not putting you down. I'm not. I don't want that to ever happen, and I don't want you to take it personally. The reason I'm saying that is because of the fact many of you are my friends on Facebook. We may not have shaken hands, or we may not have met in person, or whatever the case might be. But the fact of the matter is, we are friends. We are, and that's what America is. I think it was Lisa that said something about 9/11. At 9/11, we lost America, she said. And in a sense, you're absolutely correct. But 9/11, people came together even if it was a short period of time. We came together. We became. It didn't matter what party we belonged to. It didn't matter what color of skin we had. It didn't matter what country we came from. It didn't matter who our neighbors were. We came together as a country. And we're still looking for that. We're still looking at why and how. And that's why I'm saying this election is I believe it's the most important election in our country's history. Now, you might disagree with me, and I appreciate that. And you please tell me if you disagree with me, and tell me which election might have been more important. Because and I'm going to repeat this over and over until everybody understands why I'm saying this. If Kamala Harris, Joe Biden win the vice president and presidency, and the Senate is taken over by the Democrats, they already have the House. This country of America is never going to be the country that it was. It's never going to be a free America, because there's been too much falling to the left. And like I read earlier, like I told you, the AOC group, the family group, the working family group, JPAL, what's her name? Pamela, I believe is how it is. Anyway, it's saying that they have succeeded in pulling Joe Biden to the left. That they have succeeded to pulling Joe Biden to the left. Well, what's going to happen when Joe Biden steps out of the picture? You're going to have Kamala Harris, who is the most left-wing senator, and look at her voting record, and because I did. There's 36 pages of her voting record, and it'll show you how far left she is. I didn't even print them off, or I didn't go for them, and I'll tell you why I didn't, because it was too darn much to look at, and it's too much to read. I want to scroll up because I don't want to miss these messages. I see some good, important messages. Lisa says, Attorney Bill Barr has worked for the Bushes, invoked the state secret privileges about the 9/11 terrorists to the 9/11 families. Yes, I know about that, and I'm not very happy about it, Lisa. How much freedom do we really have under Trump? I think we got quite a bit of freedom under Trump. He's not keeping you from going to church if you want to go to church. He's not keeping you from buying a gun if you want to buy a gun. He's not even talking about it. He's telling you to go out and live your life. If you don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a mask. If you want to wear a mask, wear one. Protect your health. He wants you to have the right to choose your own health care. Lisa, explain to me why you think Trump is a dictator or a traitor. I mean, he's not a traitor. You didn't say traitor. I did. He's not. But why do you truly think? I agree with you about this. Bill Barr not talking to the 9/11 families. Either and then just recently, there was something else that he just did just recently that I'm very upset about Bill Barr. But you see, this is one thing I like about Trump. If he thinks somebody's doing something wrong in his cabinet or in his that's a part of his attorney general, his military, whatever the case, he fires them. If they're not doing the job he thinks they should be doing, and that's not dictatorship. That's getting the job done. That's cleaning the swamp. That's kicking the people out of Washington that shouldn't have been there in the first place. And that's why the Democrats and even some of the Republicans don't like Donald Trump, because he's not a politician. He knows how to deal with people. He's done it. He knows how to deal with money. He got China straightened out real quick. So I'm going to tell you I'm just telling you how I feel about this. So I guess I'm not to be doing too good. I only got 3 likes so far tonight, but that's all right. I'm not looking for likes. I'm looking for your comments, and I love them. And I want to say one other thing. I do think if Trump releases the declassified information about those the Hillary's emails, if that comes out, that might be the October surprise. I thought maybe that there would be a different October surprise, and I'm still not sure what it's going to be. But October's not over. The election's in about 3 weeks. So anyway, let's go to the next one now. Let's see. Deborah says, I really could care less of people like Trump's tweets. when you know what is said about him on the is that the LSM? Is that the live Saturday night or the I can't make that out. I'm sorry, Deborah. That's that darn printing. Anyway, it's his responsibility to speak up, and it is about our all other presidents prior to Trump should have spoken up. Oh, I love the way you're putting this. People in this country have been too complicit with their politics along the same ticket as an example. In other words, they're voting straight ticket, and I agree with that. I got to be honest. I've seen and I hear people saying I don't vote any other way but straight ticket. And I would rather hear from a president more than when I give a damn about the I'm trying to make that out. Anyway, it sounds to me like you'd rather hear from the president. You don't care that he uses his mouth to speak, and rather than give a darn about the Democrats or anybody else, what they think or what they say. I guess if I'm wrong about that, Deborah, please correct me, because I don't want to misquote you. I wish I could take a snapshot of this screen so you know why I'm having a hard time reading. Anyway, Joanne says, I agree with Susan and Deborah. Live the military life as a wife. Well, hey, Joanne, then you have really lived it. You know you know what it is like to be a military wife and a military family. My hat is off to you or your husband or both of you. It doesn't matter, because you sacrificed. You sacrificed, and that's a wonderful thing. Susan says, I agree. We must let's see, I agree. It is the most important. Oh, yes, it is. It is most important. This election, I'm telling you right now, people, don't take it lightly, please. Don't take this election lightly, and don't just listen to the news, because it's not news, it's commentary and opinions that they're giving you. You need to really jump on board with doing your own homework, do your research, and vote the way your conscience tells you. I mean, if you vote for the Democrats, that's your right, and that's what this whole show right tonight is about. Whether we're going to have that right again. Will we have that right again? I don't know. I'm very serious. Susan says, oh, never mind. I've already got Susan. I'm going to Deborah. Hey, Joanne. Hi, buddy. Oh, I take it you two are friends on Facebook. All right. Lisa, he appointed Bill Barr. Well, yes, he did appoint Bill Barr. He's got to appoint somebody. And he, just like anybody, he's appointed a lot of people. But Lisa, he's also fired some of those people. I mean, you have to admit the fact that he has done what he said, and what he works like a true person should, and he runs this country like a business, like it should be. If you're not doing your job, I might hire you, but if you're not doing the job, I'm firing you. And that's what he's done. You can look at his history. You can look at the past. That's what he's done. And so you're right. He did appoint Bill Barr, and if he thinks that Bill Barr is doing wrong, he'll fire him. Trust me. You can trust me. As long as he's president. He's president until January 1st anyway. Or January 20th, because January 20th is when Nancy would take over if it's not been decided. Lisa says it should have been known who Bill Barr was. Well, I think he probably did know who Bill Barr was. Maybe he didn't. I don't know, because I don't know how long they were friends or how long they weren't friends. But anyway, Susan says, you know where Trump stands. Yes, I think everybody knows where Trump stands. The whole world knows where Trump stands. China definitely does. North Korea definitely does. Russia definitely does. Look, I'm going to tell you something. This is why I'm telling you, this election is going to affect the whole world. It's going to affect your islands, the Philippines. Speaking of islands, I don't even want to go further until I tell you this. If the Democrats get in with the Senate, they're going to not only pack the Supreme Court, they're going to make Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. a state, and they want to make the Virgin Islands a state, and they want to do it for one reason, so that they can put more Democrats in charge and have more votes, and then do away with the Republican Party or any other party, and that's what's going to happen. You better believe what I'm telling you. That's why I'm saying this is a dangerous election if the Democrats win, especially if they get the House or get the Senate, because they've already got the House. And I'm going to tell you the way it is. Joe Biden, I almost feel sorry for the man, because I think they're using him. In fact, I would almost say they are definitely using Joe Biden. He is a pawn. He is being used as a Trojan horse, because your president is going to be Kamala Harris if they are elected. And if any of you want to disagree with me, please tell me why I'm wrong. Okay, I'm going to go to the next one. Joanne Olson, the Democrats are trying to change us into a socialist country. Well, earlier I had said that they also, because they've been infiltrated already by the communists, and we've even got some communist people as Democrats that are in political positions around the country and in our government. And I'm talking about in cities. They love the cities, or even the small towns. They love that, because once they get inside, it's just like going back to what Khrushchev said: we'll take your country without firing a shot. And they're doing it. They're doing it by sneaking in and undermining our political system. I'm going to go on and read what else you have to say. You can vote the way you can vote your way into socialism, but you cannot vote your way out. You're right. That's exactly my point about this whole show tonight. That's why I brought this up. That's why I brought up so much about the communist infiltration of the Working People's Party, and how AOC and the Squad got in, and how the Working People's Party is supporting them, how they're supporting Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Go to their website and look at their charter. Look at their political people that they're backing. They're doing a ton of backing in little cities, in little towns, and bigger towns. And it's amazing if you look at the people that they are supporting and help funding. They're getting their money from contributions from all over. In fact, how many of you? I can't think of the name off the top of my head because I didn't want to bring it up even. But the point I'm getting at is they're getting so much money from all over the left because they are a quasi-Marxist. They're not quite there yet. Right now, they are more socialist, communistic, because they've been infiltrated by the Communist Party. They are the third party, by the way. They are a third party, but you don't see them as a third party. And they are on some states. They are on some states tickets for voting. Instead of like somebody brought up about Bernie Sanders not being able to have their votes because that's up to the states apparently, but they're allowing this infiltration of that family, a working family party that's being infiltrated by the communists, the United States Communist Party. Let me rephrase that, which, as far as I'm concerned, is not any different. I want to finish what Joanne had to say. People came to us from from Venezuela and from Cuba, and are speaking and are speaking out and telling us, what it's like and why they basically they did a desperate. I'm kind of paraphrasing here, Joanne, because I can't make out everything, but they're desperate escape. Let me tell you something. I said it earlier, and I'm going to say it again. If these people, if so many people want to get away from socialism and socialist countries, why are they coming to the United States? If they want to get away from communist countries, why are they coming to the United States? Think about it. It just makes sense. Why would they want to come here if we're such a bad country? And also, if this country becomes a democratic controlled country, we're going to be another Venezuela. And if you don't want to believe that, do some homework, because it's the truth. And if I'm yelling, I'm so sorry. If it sounds like I'm taking your head off, I'm not. I'm just trying to tell you. This is. Joanne says you're not wrong, Neil. Oh, okay, I'm glad because I do see so many people coming in, and like you said, they do come in from Cuba and they come in from Venezuela and other countries. They because they're trying to get away from that. Lisa says, let me make sure I didn't miss anybody after that one. Wait a minute, there is one before that, Lisa. I'll get to yours in just a second. Don't go away. Joanne says 11 pages of the Communist Manifesto is available on Bernie's website. I know that, and I'm glad you brought it up because I was going to mention that. thank you so much. I have read the Communist Manifesto, and I'm going to tell you something. The crime bill that we had when Bill Clinton was in office came directly from Hitler's manifesto. And you can look that up, and I'm going to tell you it's almost word for word identical. Now, that has nothing to do with our particular subject right now, because Bill Clinton is not in office and he's not part of the picture right this minute. Not totally. His wife is. Anyway, Lisa says people are getting so poor that they're going to vote. They're going to vote because they think, more money will go to the people, and let's break and less breaks to the rich under Trump. Oh, you mean if they vote for Biden and Kamala Harris? Well, you know something? That's an absolute fictitious thing. If you look at the numbers, if we go and follow under Biden's rule right now, along with Bernie's and along with AOC's new Green Deal, you're going to find out that we're going to be so far in debt. Who in the hell is going to pay for it? I'll tell you who's going to pay for it. You are. Big corporate's going to pay for it. You're going to pay for it. Everybody's going to pay for it. And the poor people that are going to vote because they think they're going to get more money, they're not going to get the money from the right now. The Democrats are stalling. I'm telling you right now, there's especially Nancy Pelosi is stalling the stimulus for these people, these poor people that need it. I'm not looking for a checkup. That's what I'm saying. It's for those people who do need it. Maybe somebody like Lisa needs it, or maybe somebody like Doris needs it. Maybe somebody that can't work needs it. You get what I'm saying? And Nancy Pelosi is stalling because they want to put in their pork. They want to put in something about climate control. They want to put something about maybe emission control or whatever the case might be. They're putting in their pork. And yes, Republicans put in their pork too, but right now the Republicans say we're only going to spend so much money. Now, Trump offered a deal that could have given them the money, and they turned that down. So you're going to blame Trump for that? I'm getting to the point where I'm wondering what's going to happen to this country. I know what's going to happen if we lose the Senate and it goes to Biden and Harris. I know what's going to happen. We will not be the United States of America. We will not be the same country. Oh, it may not happen overnight, but it's going to happen within a year or two, or even less. They're going to slowly start. They're going to tear the Constitution right up. I'm going to tell you right now, they don't give a damn about the Constitution. The only time they want the Constitution when it works in their favor, like the 25th Amendment that Nancy just brought up. I think you know what I'm talking about. Let me go on here. I'm sorry, and Lisa, and I'm not yelling at you personally. I get off onto that track, and I have to think of the things that I know are happening. It goes back to when I did radio, and something happened, and I think of what happened in Waco, and I just saw something on TV about that. Not anybody, I'm one of the few people, and I'm just going to give you a quick story about this one. I'm one of the few people, if anybody else has them, I don't have a clue. They were playing 911 tapes on that documentary or whatever that was called on, I think it was Fox, but I'm not sure. It was on one of the channels anyway. And that I have the entire 19 hours of the 911 tapes that were made from Waco, from the David Koresh compound to the government saying to call off the dogs. Will come out. Just let us finish the seventh seal that Koresh was claiming that he was going to unveil. I did not. That didn't mean I agreed with David Koresh. I'm not a follower of David Koresh, but I did know about what was going on. I got questioned on because of my radio show. People that I did interview. I had FBI come to my house because they were looking for somebody that they thought I might know where he was at, and I only knew people that that I had interviewed. So that's, I'm not going to go any further with that story. The point I'm getting at is I think about these things and it bothers me because I see where our country's going. When I see where and that was during the Clinton administration, which was a Democrat administration, where you had a government going after American people. That doesn't mean that those people were right, but to attack American people on American soil and declare war on them, and they end up dying, regardless of who in the world did it, or who you think did it. To call in our military to take care of a compound and children die, and that happened during a Democrat administration. So you tell me that it couldn't happen again if we get another Democrat administration. And no, I don't think George Bush did us any favors on 9/11. I'm going to say that one right now. I'm not a George Bush fan. And if I'm stepping on anybody's toes, I'm sorry, because I tell you what, I'm telling you how I feel. Let's see. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, I want to go back because I think that let's see. Lisa said people are getting poor. Okay, that's where I left off. Doris Robbins says a lot of movie stars are retracking, are backing the Democrats. Oh yes, well, but you got to understand. Doris. They're not living in reality. They don't have to worry about money. They don't have to worry about where their next food's going to come from. They don't have to worry about, they've got iron gates around their houses or whatever it is. They've got enough money that it doesn't matter to them. So my point is there. I said this on Thursday, and I'm going to say it again. I don't mean to repeat it, but for those of you who might have missed it, if you didn't see the first part one of this show that I did on Thursday, I mentioned the fact that what's happened is so many of the what happens in the movies, it seems like the government, if it works, the government wants to try the same thing. Like your space futures and stuff like that came out before they probably even sent anybody to the moon, or if they really did send somebody to the moon. I've questioned it, I'll be honest with you, but that's just my own personal. Let me go on, because Deborah says AOC got on the issue of on democracy. Let me see here, and the voters in New York City. Well, yeah, she did. I'm wondering though who really backed her. But here we go back to the point that all politics is local. Oh, that's a great way of putting it, because you're right. I definitely totally agree. So we keep asking how Pelosi is getting in. Well, they keep voting her in for one thing, but we keep saying we cannot have term limits. I have talked about that time and time again. We aren't allowed as a people, not even if we had enough states to do it. We cannot change that because Congress has made it a rule, a law, that they are the only ones that can decide whether there's term limits or not. And they've already said, we're not going to have term limits. You can be in as long as you want. And then Deborah goes on to say, but people leave their emotions, their senators and representatives and keep voting them in. They are happy with their goodies and their you're right, and their senator and the reps that they bring home. You know what? It's called. It's like if you think about this. Mom says she promises if you're a good boy or a good girl, she'll bring you back a surprise from the store when she goes to the store. And when she comes home, Darn, I forgot about the surprise, but I'll get it next time. So you just remember that. That's kind of the way our government works, our Congress, our Senate. That's kind of the way it works. We're going to promise. They come to our locations, local locations, and bingo, they promise the world, and they keep getting revoted and get voted back in. But you see, going back to what I said earlier, people, and that is the fact that slowly the socialist or the Communist Party of the United States is slowly sliding in under the name of Democrats to take over this country. You better believe that's what their goal is. I've got it right here. You can look it up yourself. Don't take my word. And you should always look up and do your own research anyway. Let's move on here. Lisa says, like Venezuela, people don't have money to pay taxes because payroll, monetized, I think, is that what it says? I can't make it out, or nationalized or something like that. But anyway, the deal is they pay the government, and the government wants us to take their oil. This is both parties, I believe. Let me scroll down just a little bit here so I don't miss this. Because unless the platform has, unless the platform is changed, let me reread that. In Venezuela, people don't pay the taxes because yes, but what happened in Venezuela was the government taxed the people so much and they took their oil away from them. Now Venezuela has got such a corrupt government right now. You see what happened to Venezuela. So you're right about that in that sense. Our government wants to take their oil. Well, let me tell you something. They might want to take it maybe again, and it doesn't start with just Donald Trump, but they might want to take their oil. We have enough oil. We don't need anybody else's oil, but maybe to help get the Venezuela back into to where the people have a decent country again. I don't know what the reason is. And I don't know. I don't have for fact that we're getting, we've always gotten oil from Venezuela, but Venezuela also with their new leader, cut us off of oil. So, whether we've got it back or not, I don't know. And because we do have enough oil that we could make it on our own. But the fact is, because we're even supplying other countries with oil. Joanne says, Biden has said he's going to repeal the Trump tax on day one. He's going to do more than that on day one, according to what he said. You're right about that, Joanne. This means immediate tax hike for the working people. Boy, did you nail it. Of what is it, 3%? It's going to be a lot. It's in the trillions by the time they get all done. We all got to average a 39% tax cut. There you go, with the Trump tax break. You're right. It's 39% is what you're referring to. I didn't see the 9. I apologize. But yes, see, look, from day one, he's going to repeal it. So you're going to pay for it. I'm going to pay for it. We're all going to pay for this. If the Democrats get in office, that's going to happen. You might as well start digging out your wallet and your billfold right now, or your pocketbook, or whatever you got, because that's what's going to happen. Doris Roberts says abortion. That's yes, they love abortion, and the government has no business funding abortion, in my opinion. And to me, is for them to even up to the time of a normal birth, to me that's murder. Is that any different than somebody killing someone with a gun? or stabbing them with a knife. Right up to birth, they can take it. And we discussed this on another show in the past, how the abortion clinic started, and it was started by a Nazi woman. And you most of you women, I'm sure, all know who she was or what her name is, and how Planned Parenthood got started. Let me go down because we got another one from Susan. Susan Fletcher says, I'm saying that wrong. I know, Susan, but it's this darn writing or darn screen. Pelosi is nothing more than, has done nothing but go after Trump. Well, look, the Democrats themselves have spent all of his time in office trying to get him impeached. They're not getting a damn thing done. And now the first stimulus check was wonderful. Everybody worked hand in hand and everybody got happy. And, everybody said, oh, we're all the heroes and the heroines and so on and so forth. And of course, Biden and Harris are not in any way, shape, or form. Are they going to do anything in the way of taking a vaccine if Trump does it? But they will if he gets a vaccine in. But they'll take it as soon as Biden's in, if that happens, and it'll be the same vaccine that Trump's doing. So I don't know who they think they're kidding. That's just childish to even talk that way, because Trump is not the one that's making the vaccine. Let's get real. Joanne says, sorry, Lisa, Trump is not or isn't trying to take take Venezuela's oil. We are finally energy independent. Yes, we are. That's why I said I think if we are taking it, we're only trying to get the people back to where they've got something of a country. But to my understanding, we were cut off of their oil anyway, and we're not taking it because we are independent, energy independent. And I don't want to see us go to this great Green Deal and the big reset. Look out if that happens, people. You wait to see, because we're going to do a show on that one. I haven't decided exactly when, but we are going to do a show on that one. Susan says, what do you feel? Do you think Trump will get in? I have to be honest with you. I don't believe in polls. I don't believe the polls are telling us the truth. I think Trump is right in questioning how the mail ballots are going to affect the election. I am thinking, it is my own personal thinking, that there are so many people that are hiding in the bushes, not saying who they're going to vote for at this point because they don't want to tip anybody's numbers, or they don't want to tip anybody off. And if you look at polls, it depends on how they're questioned as to, and what the questions are as to how they come out. So at this point, they say that Trump is 10 points behind. That's an average of about 10 points behind. I don't think that means a darn thing. In my opinion, I think Trump will be reelected. I'm hoping that he will, and I hope that Lisa is not right. And Lisa, I'm not saying this because I don't like you, because you and I've had some discussions about this kind of things, but we've always remained friends. The thing I'm saying is this: if we become a one-party country, we're done. If Trump gets reelected, we're not going to be a one-party country. Does that make sense to anybody? So yes, I think Trump will get elected because I think there's people that are not saying a thing that are going to go out and vote for him. There's undecideds right now that will end up going out and voting for him. There are the one thing that concerns me more than anything, because he is picking up Hispanics, he's picking up more of our African American black friends. here in the United States. He's picking up more of their votes, many more of them than what you think. The other part of that is there's a lot of independents, and they're going to go both ways. I mean, this goes both ways, but I think that he's picking up people that they're not talking right now. So my thinking is, yes, he will get reelected, and if he doesn't, we better start praying hard for this country. And I really mean that. Lisa says to Joanne, Trump has heavily sanctioned Venezuela. He has stopped Iran's vessels and who were trying to help them with energy. Trump and a coup. He gave. Wait a minute here. I got to get this up here. He gave it up for now. Trump, Trump, is that right? Tried a coup. Excuse me, and he gave it up for now. Well, let me also answer on that one, Lisa. You are very familiar, obviously, of the Venezuelan leader. He is a monster. The people would not be fleeing. He is a monster. They would not be fleeing. So I give Trump credit for stopping Iran from because they weren't going to help those people. Those people were not going to get helped. Those people were not going to get anything. It's just like going to North Korea, sending something to North Korea or China. How many do you think goes to the people? Or it goes to the elite or the leaders. It's just like when Obama gave, was it Iran? $1.5 billion or whatever it was in cash. What was that for? And what did it come back to bite us? That's just something to think about. That's just something to think about. Susan says, I am disgusted with the Bushes. I've lost all faith in the Bushes. I mean, they've already said that they're voting for Biden. To me, they're nothing but more than rhinos. As far as I'm concerned, George Bush Jr., or whatever you want to call him, should have stayed with the Texas Rangers. But that's not my call. Somebody could say the same thing about Donald Trump, that he should have just stayed with the Trump Towers or whatever he was doing. I'm sure that's where a lot of people feel. Susan says, never has a president in the past, let me see, presidents go against them like Trump. Okay, you're right. Trump has stood up to any country. And I've said this in I think probably the last show, I even said it. Trump has stood up to China, to North Korea, Russia, Iran, any of the countries. He's bringing jobs back in. And the Democrats, I guarantee you, because Biden, and look this one up, people, Biden was in China's hip pocket all the time he's been in office, and he was giving jobs to China. He was part of that whole gimme, or give away. That's why our jobs got happened. So Trump tries to bring them back. And he gets and everybody says, "What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You can't, he's lost jobs." They're blaming it. They're even blaming the virus on him, for crying out loud. And that, to me, is just the most stupidest thing I ever heard. How do you blame the virus on one person when I can prove to you? I've got it. Hang on, just a minute. Hang on. I'm gonna. If I can find it, I'm gonna read it to you. I've got to find it. I hope I didn't leave it someplace. I want to find it for you. Because I'm going to tell you something. Speaking about the virus, I may have left it. I may have put it someplace else. Point I'm getting at is everything that that President Trump did to try to stop the infiltration of that virus by cutting off China's flights and whatever. I'm going to tell you right now, Biden has said he was xenophobic and he disagreed. We should keep the borders open. And now he's saying, I mean, among other things he said it. He also says, I mean, I got it right here. I knew I had it. The facts and records according to what happened. On January 31st, this is Biden's response. He called China's travel ban xenophobic and hysteria. On January 31st, he did that. Early February, had his campaign say, this is less lethal than SARS, probably not a serious epidemic. That's what Biden said. In mid-February, Biden said, we don't have a COVID-19 pandemic. We have a fear epidemic. In late February, it's like a flu. It's going to dissipate with the warmer weather and move to the southern hemisphere. Biden advisors said masks are not going to help. Now, this is the guy that's running for president, people, and has condemned Trump on the way he handled the virus. Early March, Biden had indoor rally in Wisconsin and opposed the European travel ban. When Trump said, we've got to keep this out, we've got to get this thing under control. They were predicting, 2 million deaths in this country? And we've got, 200,000? And we don't even know if those are all from coronavirus, because those could be regular, accidents or, whatever kind of death. I don't even know. But anything that on the where there might be a sign that COVID was a part of it. If you have a cold, you got COVID. You know that, don't you? Or the corona. Let's see. Okay, in mid-March, Biden said Trump needs to stop xenophobic fear-mongering. On July 20th, he delivered his plan for COVID response to MSNBC's Joy Reid. All 6 things he said he would do, the Trump administration had already done. When Biden was vice president, he depleted the stockpile of the PPE and didn't replenish it. People, you look it up, you do your research, you find out if I'm telling you the truth or not. I'm telling you that's what happened. And he is now condemning President Trump, the way he handled the COVID virus. And the Democrats are blaming Trump for it. This is ridiculous. I mean, this is absolutely, positively ridiculous. And you've got the left-wing media that is really playing it up. That Trump is he was reckless when he was on the balcony, like he was spitting all over everybody the other day. He wasn't even contagious at that point, his doctor said. Anyway, let's go on. I'm so sorry. I got onto a rant. Deborah says, Trump says sanctions to Venezuela are of the last election. The man elected the people has never been able to take office. You're talking about in Venezuela. We have no need for Venezuela or anything else from that country. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. You're right. The person who was elected never became president. Doris Roberts says they're wasting they're wasting taxpayers' money. Well, there's no doubt about that, Doris. I have to agree with that. Lisa says they wait a minute. I'm not sure I can make out that second word, Lisa. Something about said Hillary as ahead. Oh, they had. They had. Are you saying that they had said Hillary was ahead? Are you talking about in that in the last election, as far as the polls. Oh, that's Doris. I'm sorry for saying that. Excuse me. Yeah, they did say that. They did say that Hillary was ahead. I don't know why exactly how many points or whatever. But anyway, now Lisa says we disagree. Trump's sanctions hit the people. If they can't get the goods and more money gets seized by the banks. Now, are you referring to the banks of Venezuela, Lisa, on that one? His trade for war with China has hurt the Midwest farmers. No, it hasn't. No, I got to tell you, not like you think. He will hurt that will hurt his reelection. I disagree, and the reason I'm saying that is not because it's because of what you're hearing from China and what the mainstream media is commenting. They're trying to make it look like Trump is a bad guy, that he's hurting this and he's hurting that and he's hurting something else. I've got news for you. The farmers started getting hurt during Obama's administration because the government, and even before that, maybe probably could have been even during the Bush administration. The point I'm getting at is, my family are farmers. My family are farmers. So what got hurt was not during Trump's administration. And this thing with China, as far as the farmers are concerned, is to give is basically that we're not buying as much from China and we're letting China buy from us. Now, if somebody can show me I'm wrong, then please do that, because I will admit it. I've never said that I'm right. I want you to be free and tell me that, Neil, you're made a big mistake there. But anyway, let's go on. Doris says that they blame everything on COVID. Yeah, they do. And the sad part about it is, when they blame it on the COVID, the point being is there's always some kind of epidemic of something. The flu epidemic. I mean, why do they tell you year after year after year after year after year after year, get your flu shot, get your pneumonia shot. I mean, look, this is not just during Trump's administration. This is any Trump administration. They tell you, get your shot. Well, the flu still kills a lot of people, shot or no shot. And I'm being honest with you. This with what Doris just said, blaming everything on COVID. They're blaming the economy, but that's Trump's fault. Remember, according to the left media and the Democrats, it's Trump's fault because of the COVID. He's the murderer, according to the left and the Democrats. He's the one that apparently developed it. I don't know, according to them. I mean, you can go on and on and on, but everything is blamed and it has hurt but he did not say to shut down the country. Like Biden says, he would listen to a scientist and he would shut down the entire country the first day in office. That's not what we need. That's exactly the last thing this country needs, is to be shut down completely again. We were not even shut down completely again. Trump said use some common sense. He would not make a executive order of any kind, and Biden says he would make an executive order if the scientists told him to. Well, what scientist is he going to? Right now, his scientist and his expert is a CNN contributor. Look it up. Watch CNN. You'll find out. Deborah says, Lisa, Trump is doing nothing to the people in Venezuela and the government. Wait a minute. Did we already go through that one? It is their government that has put the people the places they are in now. Lisa, while you are entitled to your opinion, You are not entitled to your own facts. Trump has given over $2 billion and yes to the farmers that we collected from in China. Excuse me, 28 billion. That's right. He has, and that's a lot of money. And so Trump has definitely not hurt the farmers in this country. Deborah Stacy says, Neil, you are correct. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Deborah. Deborah goes on to say the blame for COVID was absolutely only with the I'm trying to see solely with the. Are you talking about the CP or the Centers of Control, the CDP, or what? No, what am I saying? The Centers for Disease Control. That's what I'm thinking of. Is that what you're referring to, Deborah? Correct me if I'm wrong. Doris Roberts says, abortionists murder is the same, if I'm reading that correctly. I mean, let me see here. Abortion is murder as we condone, like as if we condone murder. If I'm reading that correctly or interpreting that correctly, I'm sorry about that, Doris. But yeah, well, it would be like we condone murder, and I don't condone murder. I mean, when we see police officers getting murdered, why, that's our country's gone. Our country has gone because it's not because of Trump, or it's not necessarily because of any particular thing. It's the influence that's being done by people like George Soros, who's paying people to start riots and burning people's homes and their businesses and killing people. And when you get to Chicago, you got these gangs that are shooting little children. They shoot in cars and kill kids, and babies are killed. And what kind of world is this? What has happened to the United States is what I'd like to know. And if we end up with a Democrat-controlled country, well, all hell's going to break loose. I mean, I can tell you that right now. I think, like I said, it was Bob Freuden last week said that it looks like a revolution may happen. I hope not. I'd hate to see that. Lisa says Trump could not call it the China virus. He makes it sound like their government did it without providing evidence. Well, all the news that came out, Lisa, was that it was in China. That China did. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that it might not have had something to do with some of our own colleges here, because I mentioned that myself. But he had every right to call it the China virus. As far as I'm concerned, because it did, in my opinion, from everything I've seen, and until I'm proven different, I would say that it definitely came from China. Deborah has said that the Chinese, the CP, the Chinese Communist Party. Thank you. I'm so sorry. Yes, it did come from the Chinese Communist Party. Came from China. I mean, look. If you look at the fact of the Chinese doctor, that her mother's now being held in prison because of the Chinese doctor, I think she's in the United States, but I don't know. I can't tell you her name off the top of my head. I had it last week, and I apologize that I don't now. But anyway, her mother is in prison because she is telling the truth about what happened with the COVID virus. How it was developed, and how other doctors have disappeared because of it. because they have tried to warn that this is a serious situation. Susan she says, if abortion is murder, how can people be charged if they kill all the if they kill the mom? You know, that we talked about that, Susan. I had a pastor on a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about that, and about if a mother's health is in danger, who do you save? Especially if the mother has other children, because abortion is different. We're not talking. We're talking about if they have to abort the child to save the mother's life if she has children. And because we did talk about that, because that topic did come up, and it was the way he explained it was, if the mother has children, it is really between the mother and the doctor as to how they would handle the situation. He was not saying that it would be the mother would be a murderer, or that whatever the case might be. But if the mother's life was in danger and she had other children, it would have to be up between her and the doctor. So that would be a personal situation between her, the doctor, and if she believed in God and her God. So I'm just telling you in that respect, because that's a good point that you make. It's a very good point. You know, if abortion is murder, how can how can people be charged with if they kill the mom? You're absolutely right. That's a very, very good point. And I know people are coming and going, and I love the fact that we still got some good viewers. But if when it gets too late, just tell me, people, because this topic is. I knew it would be a hot topic, and I knew if that there are going to be people that disagree with the things I've said, and that's what this is about. You speak your piece, and I'll speak my piece. I'll respect your opinion. I just want you to respect mine. Dora says, so they can face murder. Are you referring to the abortion again, or what is that, Doris? I'm not quite sure. What you're referring to? Susan says it's with the SARS and bird flu. You know what? It's with this. Yes, the coronavirus is a part of the SARS and the bird flu. And you remember this bird flu and the SARS. For some reason, it was kind of, be careful, be cautious, get your flu shot, so on and so forth. But people didn't run around in masks. And I'm wondering, is this the future of America or of the world, that we all wear masks for the rest of our lives? Is this the future of America? I'm just asking a question. I mean, it's kind of maybe a stupid one, but when President Trump gets humiliated, or not humiliated, I don't think anybody can humiliate him except maybe his wife. I'm sure she can do that. But my point is, when the media, condemns him for taking off his mask or not wearing his mask or whatever, I saw a news clip. Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and another senator, Democrat senator, walked into, when they got done doing whatever they ripped their mask right off, and they were walking around with other people. They were walking right in front of them, right past them, whatever, and they didn't have a mask on. But yet Trump doesn't dare stand up on a Truman balcony above people on the lawn, like maybe 500 people, whatever was there, I'm not even sure, with his mask off because he might give them the COVID. Or maybe they are too close to each other because maybe some of them weren't wearing a mask. The reason for the mask basically was because if you are ill, to try to help you to keep from spreading it to somebody else. That was the reason for the mask. So now everybody wears a mask, not only to keep from giving it to somebody else, but so they don't get it. But how many people do you see that do pull it down below their nose so they can breathe? Because look at the people that are in the stores, that are working in the stores or whatever, that have to wear this mask all day long. That can't even be healthy. That cannot be healthy. let alone what it's doing to their lungs and the oxygen and so on and so forth. Anyway, let's go on. Joanne says, good grief, Lisa. Where have you been? The virus definitely came from Wuhan, China. There's a Chinese virologist hiding somewhere. I think that might be the same virologist that I was talking about, Joanne, here in the U.S. and came out and started to name the firm that it. Let me make sure I'm saying that right. Stated it did come from the Wuhan lab. Well, that's why I said she not only said it, but other doctors said it, and I guess they lost their lives. Some of them have disappeared or whatever. I'm not even sure about the total part of that. But yes, I wish I could think of her name. I've got it in a stack of pile of the papers because I've still got them here, but I'm not going to go through it. Deborah says, Lisa, Trump can call the virus anything he wants. If China doesn't like it, then they need to provide the proof. Do you remember the travel bans that China put in place within their own country, but allowed worldwide worldwide travel? Facts again. I do remember that, Deborah, and I'm not contradicting Lisa, but I'm agreeing with you on this one because I do remember now that you're right. They did quarantine basically or shut off Wuhan, but they let other parts of China travel worldwide, and that's why Trump wanted to shut the borders. No China flights. Now let's see. Lisa says they said it was a natural occurrence. Lisa, please explain what you mean there, because I want to see. Whoops, there's quite a few here. I'm missing some. It said there's another one. Dora says Democrats are endorse murder. Well, I think when you're talking about abortion, that would be, I would have to say that would be endorsing murder. That's my opinion, and obviously it's Doris's opinion. The thing that concerns me is that what they want to do is, as far as releasing people without bail, violent criminals, back into society. Why did the Democrats want to do that when they're going to turn right around? And it's been proven with people that have come here across from the border that, again, illegal that came here and were allowed to go to sanctuary cities and ended up killing somebody or raping a woman or doing whatever they've done, and were turned loose, and they turned around and did it again. So come on. I mean, that's not even, I would say most of my Democrat friends would agree that that's not right. Deborah says, who is they? The Chinese might suggest you turn off the mainstream media and do some research on your own. You might not sound so foolish. I'm not sure. Did I say something wrong? Did I say something that sounds foolish? I wouldn't surprise me because I've been known to do that. But yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think, I have opened my mouth and said some things I probably shouldn't have said, but I did say them. But anyway, Deborah, whatever you mean, the Chinese definitely, in my opinion, did know about this virus, and they did release it, and they did not do anything to stop it from spreading. And Trump is holding them responsible, and he needs to. That makes me very proud. It makes me happy that he would do that. He's not afraid. I will tell you right now, this man is not afraid of anybody to stand up to anybody. And you got to give the man credit for that. I was surprised, that when he picked Pence, because Pence is kind of a soft-spoken person. But the party thought that apparently that Pence would make a good vice president, and I think so far he's done pretty good. I mean, he hasn't, the most he's been tied up with, and more than anything, has been the virus. And then the other night he did the debate, and that's, you can decide yourself whether or not you thought he was good or not. Doris Roberts says, hopefully in Michigan, we're still fighting, or hopefully not Michigan. Okay, we are still fighting. Yes, you are. That's an issue that's really bad in Michigan. What's going on in Michigan, Doris? When I've read and seen what's going on, I have to tell you, it's very concerning to me, because even your attorney general, I think, has gone against the governor in this particular case. I could be wrong on that, so correct me if I'm wrong. And before I forget, for those of you that are watching, and those of you that are taking part, which I really appreciate, I'm going to say this: please share this video. I mean, there's been some wonderful comments and wonderful arguments going on here, back and forth. I say arguments, differences, and some agreements and what have you. So please share this and tell your friends, because I don't get paid to do this. I'm not looking for any glory of any kind. I'm just trying to get people to communicate. I do the video, I do the live stream so that you can tell me how you think. We're going to do more shows, and I will keep announcing them. I'll keep doing videos, and this one, like the last one, I've had some great. I don't know how many people have viewed it so far that have come and gone, which I understand because people do. But I hope you will share it. I hope you will. And if I try to thank everybody personally with a private message. If I happen to miss you, please forgive me. I'm going to tell all of you right now that have taken part of our conversation tonight. I want to thank each and every one of you, regardless of your opinions, your thoughts, your comments, whatever the case might be. You have made the show. I'm only the commentator, and I really appreciate your support. And when I go to YouTube, I will, when I post my YouTube site, I would hope that you would subscribe, because it just helps me grow. I don't get paid, but it helps me grow on YouTube and get more subscribers. It's free. It doesn't cost a thing to subscribe, and I will definitely post it for you. Anyway, let me go on here, because Lisa was next on the. She says, I am aware of the virologist. The U.S. has been investing in the research in Wuhan and is and elsewhere for years. It came out of the lab. Everyone has played it for as suspect. Am I right? Everyone that has played it is suspect. Did I say that right? Is that paid or played? Anyway, if the United States is involved with it, for years, when did it start? If it goes back to the SARS, does it go back to the H1N1? Does it go back to the bird flu? Because they were all part of the coronavirus. Every one of them. Anyway, Susan says, here in Indiana, COVID is getting worse instead of better. Yes, I'm well aware of that. And Susan, the thing about it is, they're right next door to Michigan, and that's where that area, I think, is the part of the hot spot of Indiana. If I'm not mistaken, you might correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it is that part of Indiana. I know the southern part probably has some, but not as much. I have a sister in Michigan that got the COVID. She is recovering, thank God, and her boyfriend as well got it, and he is recovering, thank God. So and the main thing is obviously you live here in Indiana, Susan. I don't know what part, But the bottom line is stay safe no matter what. Do what you feel is right as far as keeping yourself safe. And I would say that to any and all of you. If you believe in wearing a mask, then wear it. If you don't, then that's your right. I mean, there's no reason for anybody to condemn anyone for what they do. I mean, other than the fact unless I had the COVID and I knew it or didn't, or if I was feeling sick, I have no reason whatsoever to be out trying to spread it to somebody else. I mean, that would be on my conscience, number one. I spend enough time in this, because I do have some underlying conditions, but the bottom line is, it's time we start opening our country back up. And I don't want to see it close down again because, it could happen. And I don't want to see that. And I think the COVID is going to affect the scare of the COVID. Let me rephrase that. It's going to affect the people going out and voting. That's why the Democrats are pushing for the mail-in votes. But mail-in votes are one thing, absentee votes are another. If you can always get an absentee vote, which is more safe than just a willy-nilly mail vote. I'm sorry for those Democrats that want that, or even Republicans that want a mail-in vote. I'm sorry, that's not safe. It's not going to end up. We're going to end up with a constitutional crisis if this thing is not careful. Mark the word on that one. We could end up with a horrendous constitutional crisis. Joanne, Neil, it's deja vu. Lee, or doctor, excuse me, Lee, yes, Lee Meng Yan. Yes, thank you, Joanne. I've got it right here because I had an article on her, but I don't know how far down the article is in that stack of papers. And Deborah says, Susan, I am from Indiana. So you got, well, how about that? Well, I hope, Deborah and Susan, I hope you're both in a safe area, and I'm sure you are. And of course, for those of you that might not know, I will tell you the truth. I too am from Indiana. That's where this broadcast is coming from. So we got 3 Hoosiers here. I just hope we don't all any of us get sick with the COVID. I don't normally tell everybody where I'm from, but it might even be on my website. I do have a website, but it might also be on my my profile page on Facebook. I'm not sure. Deborah says, Neil, I did not say you were foolish. Okay, that's not what you weren't replying to me. Thank you so much, Deborah. I appreciate that, because believe me, I'm sure somebody has. I'm sure somebody has thought I have been. Oh, hey, I've got a heart. I love that. I've got some likes and a heart. I love it. Thank you so much, Audrey. How are you? We've been going for a long time, Audrey. I didn't expect this show to go. We've been gone. Oh my gosh. Everybody has stuck with me, and I don't understand. You kids must be tired. I'm not tired. I would go talk all night. That's my problem. I don't know when to shut up. But it's good to see you, Audrey. And Susan also says hi to Audrey. Lisa says, why did they why do they event 201? Is that what that says? New York City in November. If the globalists weren't involved in bringing the virus. Let me reread that. Why did they do the event? Okay, I misread that because, again, like they said, the print is terrible. Why did they do event in 201 in New York City in November if the globalists weren't involved in bringing in the virus? That's a good question, and I honestly don't have the answer to that. I honestly don't have the answer to it. And so you've got a good point there. Maybe somebody else knows better than I do, because I certainly don't know the answer to that one. I will try to look it up and see, Lisa. And again, here's something. We really truly don't know. I don't think an exact time when the virus really hit us here. As far as I know, we might have found out when the case was discovered, but I don't know exactly when it came into the country. So who knows? Audrey says hi to Susan. Okay. Deborah says, what part of Indiana, Neil? Well, I have to tell you, I'm in the northern part of Indiana. And near the Michigan line. I don't like to tell too many people too many things. I'm not referring to you personally, Deborah, so don't take that personal. But I've had people who are not very pleased with me, and I've had a few threats because of the way some of the things I've posted and things I've said that they don't agree with. So I don't tell people exactly where I live. By all means, but I do live in northern Indiana, if that helps you any, near the Michigan line. And Doris says she's a Michigander. Well, you know something, then you're one of my neighbors. You might all of you be my neighbor. I don't know. Was that Fred Rogers that said, "Won't you be my neighbor?" Anyway, you know what? I tell you what. Audrey, I hope you get to go back and watch this because there were some very good conversations. Okay, you're in Portage. Okay, I know where Portage is. You're over near the Valparaiso area, so I know where Portage is. I've been there many times. In fact, I have to tell you something. When I played music, I got my music equipment in Portage. So if that tells you anything, I do know, we're not that far apart. I'll tell you that. How's that? And let's see. Doris says, do you live in the same spot? Yes, I do live in the same spot, Doris. And let's see. Yes, Valpo, Deborah says. I had a cousin that lived in Valpo, cousin and his wife that lived in Valpo for years. In fact, now we're talking like we're down to earth here. And Lisa, I know Lisa does not live in Indiana, but she has been very faithful about one thing: taking part of the show, respecting the fact that we may have our differences, but the fact of the matter is, like when I had the pastor on, she was asked that the pastor would pray for the rain for the West Coast. So, for all those fires, and I would agree with that. I mean, none of us want to see that happen. Deborah says you can always PM me. Maybe we'll have coffee. Hey, that sounds like a plan. I'll tell you what. I will PM you because I'm. I will be if I don't get to it tonight. By tomorrow, I hope I will have private message to everybody and thank you all for being a part of the show. And if I miss anybody, please don't be offended because I try to get to everyone, but I do post on when I repost the show. I thank each and every one of you. I don't name you all, but I thank all the people that did take part and did comment because you are the ones that make my show. I say my show, it's really your show because it gives you a chance to voice your opinion, get it out, and the more that people get used to it, the more topics we can get into, the more thing. Right now, we're really pushing on the election because this is really a serious situation. This election is going to make or break this country. I would only pray that the good Lord is the one that, well, he already knows who's going to be president. We don't. I mean, for those of you that believe, I believe the way I believe in God. Okay. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not afraid to tell anybody. So I know he knows already. I just hope that the people themselves will vote in a way that their conscience tells them. But I hope that by all means that we don't get to a one-party country, because if we do, the country's done. Deborah says you can always PM me. Oh, we already read that. You already offered me coffee. Susan says, not sure where the virus came up on my page, but I am very. If I'm reading this right, I'm real thankful. Is that right? I'm with you, Susan says. God is in control. Yes, he is. I amen to that. I definitely amen to that. So again, you've been wonderful to stick with me. We've been doing this. My gosh, this is going to take me. It's going to take 2 hours to upload this up to YouTube, and I still have 2 videos to upload to my YouTube page. I'm going to put that on. Hopefully, if you go to YouTube now, for instance, if you have something right on, it's just go to Neil Douglas, the New America. And when you get there, it'll take you, it'll be one picture of me like I'm in front. Just scroll down until you see the round circle one. Hit that one, because that one has all the videos. The first one does not. For some reason or other, it got messed up on YouTube. But anyway, so if you go to my YouTube, it's Neil Douglas, the New America, and it's just all separate words. And just scroll down. The first picture should come up right away with just me in a checkered shirt or something. I don't know. And then scroll down till you see the round circle, similar to what Facebook has on our profiles. And if you click that on, subscribe, it's free. That just helps me grow and helps me get more of an audience, and helps that way I can get more videos put up. But you've been wonderful. I am gonna say, because I know many of you are probably have things you need to do in the morning. You've been wonderful to stick with me. I'm going to tell you, I can't thank you enough. And the topic, I think, has been great. Everybody's had a chance to say and get things off their chest and get things off their mind. Now, the question I have real quick, and you can message me, you can PM me, you can whatever, and say to me what topic you want to talk about next. Would you want to continue with the election coming up, or should we go to something different? For instance, like the big reset, which is going to change the whole concept of the world banking and money situation. And to tell you how is going to take some time. But anyway, you tell me if you have some suggestions, and when you want the next show. I normally do the show on Tuesday or Thursday, but generally Thursday's been working out good, and Sunday. If we do 2 shows, I usually do them on Thursday and Sunday, or Tuesday and Sunday. I like the Thursday and Sunday because it keeps a little closer, and it makes me work a little harder as far as this researching, but it does help. So feel free to PM me, or you can tell me now quickly, whatever you want to do. Just tell me when you want me to do the next show. And if you have a topic, by all means, PM me, because I'm open to anything. I really am. And I've had some good topics come up. The problem I have is I try to deal with things that are happening today that are so important to all of us. We did a lot on the coronavirus. Reset, that's a good question, Audrey. It's called the Big Reset. And it's going to have to do with digital money and how it's going to come about. And it's really, it is called the Big Reset. Doris says, is that what you want to talk about? Both of you, Audrey and Doris. Susan, thank you so much. And I hope you'll join us on our next show. And it really, I'm going to try to figure out, because of the way it shows on my screen, it's hard for me to make out, but it looks like it's like Susan Pelcher, and I can't make out this last name because they're running together from that darn way the print is. If I could actually, I will know how it's done when I get back on Facebook. Right now I'm I'm broadcasting through StreamYard, and I do that because that way I can have guests, and I can have more than one guest if I need to have guests. So thank you, Susan. That's very kind of you to say that. And I want to thank Deborah, and I want to thank Liz, and I want to thank Doris, and of course our friend Deborah O'Neill, Deborah Stacy, Joanne Olson. You've all been great. And again, I want to thank you all. Please be safe this week. And as far as the show, the next show, I'm thinking maybe we should do it on next Thursday. What do you think? Does that sound okay to everybody? And hopefully you can make it. And maybe we'll do the show on the big reset, because that's important. It's going to change a whole bunch of stuff, no matter who's in office. It really is, because this is a worldwide thing. So in the meantime, please be safe, stay healthy, stay faithful. God bless all of you, and God bless America. Good night, everybody.